Hello Flosstube, my name is Laura and I'd like to welcome you to Stitching by the Shore, my channel all about cross stitch with a little bit of paper crafting thrown in too. If you are new, I'd like to say welcome. Thank you so much for pressing play. I hope you like what you see. Maybe hit like and subscribe, and I would love to know what you like to stitch. And if you're a returning stitching friend, well, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you taking the time to come hang out with me. And let's talk stitching. I'm so excited. I have my usual number of projects. This weekend was what was it? Whip Frenzy on the Whip Warriors Facebook group. That is a challenge group that is currently closed, but will open again generally around the end of November. I usually will let you know when, in case you're interested in looking at it and maybe trying it out before the 2026 year starts. If you are new, I do like to do some different types of challenges and games. It just makes it fun for me to see if I can fulfill them and see what projects I have that kind of work towards that. And it's just kind of fun. Partly, to be honest with you, is then marking it off that I've done it. There's a sense of satisfaction for me in that. So that's why you'll hear me talk about games. I don't have a lot of like before kind of stuff to talk about, so I think I'm just going to jump right into my projects. Now you'll see behind me, I have a little bee kind of, tableau or whatever you want to call it to show you, because that's leading up to my very first project, which is a finish. But we'll show you these now, you know what? I'll talk about those afterwards. Let's show you the finish first. I'm excited. Let me show you originally what it's supposed to be. I did decide in the end not to do kind of the outline of the stitch, even though I like it and I think it's really cool looking. This is Bee Garden, and it is from, there we go, try to angle that, Sub Rosa Designs. And I do like that kind of honeycomb look quite a bit, actually. However, I hadn't started with that part, and after I stitched it, I just really like it like this. I think I'm just going to keep it that way. So everything else in the pattern is there, except for that one little part. Now, I probably will scrapbook this, but if you were doing it in, say, a frame or whatever, look, it's not a complete circle, but it's kind of like an ovalish circle, and I think it would lend itself to, you know, kind of that kind of finish if you were so inclined. As I do these, this was started in February. This was started for Carla from Carla Being Crafty. Let me write down Carla's name. Every February, Carla holds a B-E-E, Be My Own Valentine sap. And basically, you stitch something that has a bee in it somewhere. And I've been doing this for several years now. And I'm happy to say I got this finished. So February to now, not too bad. I did change the colors. So it's charted in a variegated, I think Weeks Dye Works. I changed it all to DMC. I did kind of punch up a color or two from DMC. And then we have an accidental change in the bumblebee outline and body. But I actually really like it. It wasn't the color that I was supposed to use out of my other colors. But in the end, I was really happy with it. This is 18 count French of Greene by Fabrics by Stephanie. One of my kind of favorite go-to very light greens if I want to do something that's kind of like an outdoorsy sort of feel. So I'm really, really happy with it. This is my first Sub Rosa stitch, and I have to say, notwithstanding having to do my own DMC alternatives, that's fine, whatever. It takes a few extra minutes before I can just start. But the pattern itself, very easy to read, very easy to stitch, no problems there. I had bought it as a digital, but I did not put it into Pattern Keeper. I just printed it out to make a working copy, and it worked just fine, really easy. So if you've not used Sub Rosa before, I found the shop on Etsy. I think at the time I was just Googling bee cross stitches to see what was out there, and this popped up. I think they have one or two other bee ones as well. So that is my finish. Super excited. So Carla, I did it. I'm I'm all caught up for all of your stitch alongs. Now these two pieces here were also done. I can't remember. This might have been last year's. I don't remember which year. This was a Quirky Quaker. And this one is, oh, I'm blanking. I can't remember. You know who it is. There's actually, this is Tudor Bee, I believe. I think there's another bee, and I think there's a swan in that series. This is the only one I have, and I think it's probably the only one I will do. But, and here, this is in the scrapbook. So that's my scrapbook page for that. And I enjoyed it at the time. I don't know if I'd want to do kind of a similar sort of stitch. I don't know if I need another one. I had it really nice before. Let me just turn here for a minute. So that they were kind of angled and it looked cute, but you know, that's when you have all the time in the world to do it, right? There we go. Do we want to take bets on whether or not any of that falls down over the course of this video? I'll be the first one to take the bet. All right, so that was my finish. Yay. So I am still plugging along. I might have one more finish for Charlie, stitching with Charlie. Let me write down Charlie's name. Charlie did for June and July. She challenged us to get finishes in June and July. And let me go down here with this. The hashtag was just finish June and July. And you could finish pieces, fully finish, whatever you wanted to do. So I have to say, I feel really accomplished, Charlie. I got quite a few in over the last 2 months. And I think I might be able to sneak one more in for before the end of the month. So yay. So thank you, Charlie, for giving that little push. And I think I'm running out of little smalls in order to keep that up, but I'll look, who knows? All right, so let me look for a second here on my challenge book. This is my challenge notebook, so it's basically a bullet journal, and I love making it pretty and colorful and crossing things off as I go and keeping track. So Whip Frenzy, there was now, August may have the riff off version of Whip Frenzy. I'm not 100% sure. I may have seen that somewhere, but I may be imagining it. And that one is a connections kind of Whip Frenzy. This one this month, there was no connections. You basically pulled out projects and stitched between 100 to 200 stitches in them. And I got 11 projects. It started, I think, Thursday at 8, but I always do it kind of like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then I kind of, it coincided with 24 hours of cross stitch. So I kind of always keep it within that time frame of 24 hours of cross stitch. I can guarantee you this weekend, there's no way I got anywhere near 24 hours of cross stitch. We were pretty busy. Alrighty, so this first one as we go through, and again, no real connections with any of them. So I'm not going to say, well, this one connects this way or that. This is called Shack on the Shore, and it's from Flossibilities. My very first Flossibilities. I know many of you had seen or have stitched or are stitching it's Cabin in the Woods, which is also from Flossibilities. I believe they're doing a series. I mean, so they have 2 so far. So who knows? It was funny. I think we were on a Zoom one time because I'm stitching this with several of my Zoom friends. And I think we were kind of being silly and playing around with, okay, what other kinds of alliteration sort of things, like a shack on the shore or whatever could you do? So it was a lot of fun. So who knows what Flossibility has up their sleeve for us, but it'll be fun to see. Now, what's funny is in that picture, I did not notice the colors. The vibe for the colors is almost like think about this shack has been here on the shore and everything is a little like sun washed, you know how when everything kind of fades a little bit because it's been out in the sun. That's kind of what the color scheme here is with this. So it doesn't pop on the camera as much. In person, you can see it just fine, but just it's not that I've picked kind of colors that are faded, but that's kind of what the pattern is, which is really kind of neat because it's all going to go together. And it's kind of fun because I have plenty of ones that pop and this and that. So let's change it up a little bit. This is where I got to. This one is on 18 count ice crystals by Fabrics by Stephanie. This one I did put in Pattern Keeper, and I am using it that way. And it's probably hard to see. There's 3 different colors between the line and then here and then another row of greens. So I wanted to see what that looked like. I got all that done, came all the way over here, worked my way, got some stuff down this way. And last time I had done the sun because I wanted to kind of maybe get some of this in the shack itself. So I did do some of the work on the shack as well. The one thing I would like to change, and I have seen, so Lee from Sticks, Strings, and Other Things, right, Lee? You're in my queue. You just put out a video I have to watch. But Lee is also one of the people stitching this. And do you see the color of the anchor? She, like me, kind of was not really jazzed about that color of the anchor. And I can't remember. I'll have to go back and check. But I know Lee changed it, I believe, to a gray. I had originally thought, ooh, maybe I'd do like, and I mean, anchors are not navy, but back when I had my Etsy shop, one of my most best-selling place cards, because I used to rubber stamp place card sets. I had an anchor stamp, and I would stamp it with navy cardstock on white, and then the place card would have a navy colored base. I sold hundreds of those. So anchors in my mind will always partially be navy because it's just ingrained color scheme wise. Obviously, I pulled myself out of that very quick and said, no, I'm not going to do, for 2 reasons. One, I'm not going to do a navy anchor because the color scheme wouldn't match. That would be too dark, too bold. But secondly, anchors are generally not navy. So I will likely probably find a gray, and I will use not the deepest, darkest gray, but one that kind of, I'll pull out all of the flosses, and I don't know if there's, no, I don't think there's a gray in this pattern. I'll pull out the flosses and then pull some grays and see what kind of vibe and color tone goes nicely with that. So I'll let you know when I figure it out. But that's where I am so far. Besides Lee, I know Karen, the Stitching Owl, is working on this one, as well as Mary from Mary's Stitching Corner. I have to laugh because Mary and I have so many projects that we're doing together, and we have a long list of projects to start in the future together as well. So you will hear Mary's name, most likely Karen as well, for pretty much every video that I ever make from here on out. And I'm trying to think if there was anybody else. I forgot to look, and I do have to be better in my book of writing who's stitching what. But off the top of my head, those 3 I know are stitching it. Alrighty. No rhyme or reason on this one. I'm not even sure it might have worked for an across stick or something or other. I'm not 100% sure. But I have been kind of, for several weeks, going to pull this one out and then stitching something else instead. This is Grateful Quaker from the Heart Needleart by Wendy. I have done at least one of these. Oh, and I have 2 because I finished the Halloween one. So I've done 2 of these. They're fun little stitches. I like her monthly series, but I don't want another monthly series, so I don't think I'd do that. Now, I did use DMCs, and I'm looking on let me see on my notes if I changed any of them. I did change a little bit. I'm not 100% sure. If I have changed, I will put it in the description box. It's charted in Weeks Dye Works, although there is a DMC conversion, but I have found with some of Wendy's patterns, they're a little tiny bit too prim for me. And so I just jazz them up just a slight amount. And that might be the case here. I mean, this is clearly not super bright, although that yellow is definitely on the brighter side, but not like sunshine yellow. You know what I mean? So this is 18 count Poetic Ponyboy. I just pulled a variegated that I had for the squirrel of my own. I did not buy a specific one from Weeks Dye Works for that. Nothing else will be variegated. That's the only thing. I thought he was kind of cute being variegated, so I did do that. And then I did change, I think what was called for some of this yellow here was a kind of more of a brownish color, and I didn't want that, so I did change that a bit. I'm almost done. I did some more of the flowers here around that. This is completely finished. I had some little bits to do over here, and then I started coming up here and working my way up this way. So I have several more flowers. I think what I'm going to do, see how I've got the greenery in? I'm going to continue to do all of the green, and then all of those kinds of flowers have the red, and I'm not sure that there's any more, there's no more yellow up in that spot. There's the word grateful. I have the 2 letters to finish thankful, and then down here it says blessed. Now you'll notice in the pattern itself there's a bunch of initials. I'm not sure if that was done to put your own initials in. I don't feel the need to do that. I think it'll look fine. There's really no spot that looks, oh boy, that completely could use something. If I wanted to, right in that center, I would do a yellow flower, but I'm not sure I need to. So I'm not sure if I told you or if I'm remembering from when I was making my notes. So if I already told you, this is going to be a repeat 18 count Poetic Ponyboy from those missing stitches. That's the one thing. Sometimes when you're doing videos, well, one, if you've made a mistake and you have to go back and film, you really don't remember what you just said. But then I also kind of start to put it through my head when I'm preparing in the mornings. So as I get these things ready, I write out full notes about what all the projects are. And I'm saying these things in my head. So then I'm not quite sure when I'm talking to you, gosh, have I actually said it out loud? Or am I just having the running commentary in my head? Because as someone who was, for the first 10 years of my life, an only child, I had a lot of internal conversations, and I still do, to be quite honest with you. we have a lot of conversations in that brain quietly. So sometimes I'm not sure. I'll say to Mo, I don't know if I told you this out loud or if I just told it to you in my head. But that's what it looks like. I think my goal, because I did have to look up what fabric this was, I couldn't remember. I think the goal is for a finish this year. And I mean, really, I do believe I could. I'm going to aim it more, though, to have it done by Thanksgiving. So that gives me a few more months as I start to evaluate and look at my projects and see what's kind of close to a finish, what is nowhere near a finish, and then everything in between. All right, this next one I need to show you a digital piece first. So let me find this. This was started actually in 2023 on my birthday in October. So every October I do a pumpkin birthday stitch along. We will have one again this October, so get your pumpkin pieces. And I'm, like many things with stitching, I'm pretty go with the flow. It can be a pumpkin, and it doesn't have to be an orange pumpkin. It can be any color pumpkin. It can be pumpkin colored fabric, pumpkin colored floss, or pumpkin adjacent. Really, it's just a chance to have fun and stitch with each other. But I liked this one and decided to start it on my birthday. I don't always necessarily have a specific one. I have no idea what I'll start on my birthday, if anything, this year, like specifically that day. This was Autumn Still Life from Owl Forest Embroidery. Now, I did not buy the Owl Forest threads. They are highly variegated, as many people say, and so sometimes when they pick the DMC alternatives, which they do provide, they'll pick from one of the colors from the variegated floss. Sometimes that doesn't really, that's not going to be the look I want. Plus, that's stitched on more of a beige, or it's shown on a beige. Mine is on a very light, kind of bluish. It's 18 count Ocean Air from Fox and Rabbit. And you know what? Can I reach my, let's see if I can reach my little board here. This is my sticky board. I have not been to Michael's in weeks. It's on my list next time I need to go get some floss to look and get like a foam core board or something or other. Maybe a bigger one and cut it down so that I have, you know, also a chance to be able to do smaller pieces on a multiple kind of thing. I don't always do this, but for some reason this one is not being working with me here. So this is a variation. Some of these colors are just from me, and I won't know till the very end what's where. It's not a like for like. The only mostly like for like, unless I've thrown in a variegated, this element right here was a very kind of funky orangey, yellowy, bright scheme that just didn't match. I had stitched it in this little element up here, and as soon as I stitched it, I said, no, that's not gonna work. I am strategically throwing in some variegated flosses. So this, as you can see, has a variegation to it. And then this leaf right here is a variegated. I want to say this was Stitchy Stuff Co. This one I believe was a color, Classic Colorworks maybe. Again, in the end, I'll have all my notes and I will put it down in there. I know in the center there is a large pumpkin, which I will, there's an orange pumpkin and kind of like a green gourd kind of pumpkin looking piece. So this one I believe I will do variegated. This one I, depending on the color, may not. And then I don't know if I will do this flower the same color as that. You can see here there's almost like a wheat looking piece right there. I was getting to that, stitching it was going to be around the next thing, and I need to make a choice on that. So I got the border, came across more. I kind of got into a rhythm with that, which is good because it's not a hard one, but sometimes I make it more difficult for myself rather than breaking apart the pieces. And so I'm learning that if I can look at a border and maybe I do parts of it one way. So here you can see I've done part of the border, and then I will go back and do the fill-ins of those other pieces rather than trying to do it all in one thread. And that makes my life a little easier. So I finished off this leaf and I did all of that other stuff around here. So I was really pleased actually with the progress that I made on this one. I think when I looked in my notes, because I was pretty sure, I knew it was Fox and Rabbit, but I couldn't remember the name of the fabric. I don't know if I said try to maybe get this one 2/3 done, 2/3, 3/4. It's really, you know, 6 of one, half dozen of another in some ways. So we'll see. I don't know where I would go next. I probably should, if it would be smart for me to do this the border of this inner piece. So this way I have choices to go inside there or to stay around the outer edge. We'll see. So that one will be fun to pull out, you know, sometimes I use it on the 23rd of stitching. Sometimes I don't, because sometimes I try to pull out those pieces that were pumpkin pieces that I started at some point in the multiple Octobers that we've been doing this. And then also, I think there's quite a bit I could use for prompts there. So that will be something to think about too. All right, next one here. This is Wings of Change from Silver Creek Samplers. And I started this with several of you stitching friends, and many of you have finished it. We did have a hashtag. Oh, I didn't write it down. I believe it was Butterfly Wings Sal. I'm almost sure that's what it was. I'd have to look it up. And I saw different variations of this. Many of you were so clever with this one. I saw the flowers as purple rather than the pink, which was beautiful if that's an option you think you'd like to take. I'm actually, when I sat down and looked at this after finishing the stitching this week, this is actually not as far away from a finish as I would think. So I did kind of finished off some of these greenery leaves here. So I've got myself positioned. I have one more that's small, and then I have this giant leaf. Now that will take me a while. My guess is I might outline it, do the caterpillar, and then fill in when I'm doing a zoom or something. I have I had a mistake up here. So I have the word fly to put onto butter, so to make it butterfly. I think I fixed that though, so that shouldn't be a problem. And then I just have to finish this bottom line. So the wording is almost done. For the butterfly, I have been going back and forth. I did previously some of the black outline and then I decided this time around, one of the things I wanted to do was to do some more of the actual butterfly coloring itself. Now, there is a variegated color. I don't know if all of the flosses called for were variegated in this one. Let me see if I can find it real quick. All right, let me see. So there are quite a few classic colorworks, a few DMCs. They do give DMC alternatives for everything. Oh, be careful there. And I am using DMC for everything. What was the butterfly? I don't know what the wings were called. Probably the copper one. I did my own. Let me see if I can find it and I'll show it to you. I believe it's a Stitchy Stuff Co. Pumpkin Spice. Oh, maybe I'll use that for the pumpkin on our forest as well. I think that would go nicely. So you can see here, I have some of that done, but that was fun because I had quite a bit to do on this, and then it was just filling it in. I probably next time will do some more black outline at this point because this wouldn't take much. That might be one strand, and I did like a good two strands, if not three on that. So do the outline there, maybe get some of my words done, and tackle that. So it's coming along. 18 Count Bell Bottom Blues by Hand Dye by Rolanda. I wasn't sure if this color, how this color would look when I just had the flower, but the more I add in, the more I really do like it. So I am pleased with that. So that one is probably a 2/3 done potentially as well. I definitely want to take stock of my projects. That is most definitely going to be a end of the year project for me, is to really see at that point in time where everything is. I still have plenty of starts planned, so there's a lot coming down over the next 5 months of the year, so plenty of time to see what happens there. This next piece here, you know, it's Christmas in July. I have been participating in. I had stitched this once and I wanted to pull it out again. I will not get to all of my projects more than once. Some of them I will be able to, and some I'll just kind of plug away at other times. So we will see. Today is the 25th, and on the 25th, I do like to pull out something Christmassy. So we'll see if that happens today. This one is, it's Christmas Band Sampler, and it is from Lost in Stitches Designs. And as you can see, I've been treating it currently as just a monochromatic piece. And I am doing all of the red before I do the other colors. Part of me is kind of curious, what if I did it all red? I could do it all red as kind of like a red sort of Christmas sampler. And I'm not completely ruling that out, to be honest with you. I think that might be fun. This is 18 Count, again, Friendship Green by Fabrics by Stephanie. And I think this red, I want to say it's like an 8/16, looks so good on it, which is partly why I'm very intrigued about maybe making it all red. So what I will do is I will stitch all that is called for with the red, and then I will kind of make a decision then. I got most of this section done. I just have to do the word Mary again. You know, I got these ready to go. These are snowflakes. I don't know if I was doing it when I wasn't sure my eyes would see that correctly, so I didn't do that. I did come back up here though. These two elements next to the heart are done, and then this little kind of, I'm calling it a mountain. I have no idea what it is. So there's another one here, and then in each section here, there's supposed to be green trees. So like I said, that will wait until I've got all the red done to go from there. So I'm just plugging along, and this bottom here will be a repeat of this top. I just have to, I think I had an extra strand, so I did start that a little bit, or I had a piece of a strand. So there it is. This one I would really like to get a finish by Christmas. And if I make this one a definite pull out, I've already done it twice this month. I probably will pull something else out today. But going forward, if every 25th I work on that at least, and then try to pull it out for some challenges, maybe I could get it to a finish. All right, so this next piece here, I told you last week, this one's gonna get me. I'm not gonna get this finished by the end of July, and that's definite. I am not going to get this finished by the end of July. I will work on it again this coming week because we have one more week of the month, and then I will put it aside. I have August, September, and October to work on. But November and December are already done. So this could still be on track to be a finish by the end of 2025, which is what I want all 12 done by. So, and if in any month I can get something finished early and I feel like it, I will pull this one out. This is so pretty. I love the pinks and the purples, but it's giving me the most fits. So it's unfortunate because I do really think it's pretty. This is where I am. Not a ton, to be honest with you, because again, I spent a lot of time, after I spent all that time thinking about what to do the words in, I kind of junked that idea and then spent a whole bunch more time. I'm overthinking it. I am completely overthinking it, but you know, I do that sometimes. This is 18 count Cendre Blue from To Die For Fabrics, who's opening up again in 1 week. Super, super excited. What I have been, so here I was stitching this. When I was looking at it, I think getting ready to go, to get this ready to show you, I thought, do I want all this pink? Or do I want to do a line of pink, pick a purple, pink, purple? I don't know now because I keep waffling and I keep making more work for myself. What I did was I took one of the colors. Originally, I was all determined. Last time I did this, I was going to use a variegated. I had it picked, all set. Then I kind of second guessed myself, picked one of these colors and picked a one-step version on the DMC, different from it. So it will be similar to all of these colors. It is, and you know, we'll be fine. So what I might want to do is to do some more of this purple so I can see what colors are in that. If I do want to do pink line, purple line, pink line, purple line. I don't know. The border's done. So the flowers and the words are really it. Which, I mean, frankly, that should be the easiest part. Especially the words. But, no. So we will see what happens by next week. But I can guarantee you with 100% certainty this will not be finished by the end of the month. Because I would have to probably just work on this and no other project for the entire week for me to get it finished. There's that much because the flowers have 5 different colors in each, you know, 5 pinks, 5 purples. So there's a lot of changing. And so there's a lot of kind of, it's a slow stitch when it comes to that. Now, flip that with a faster stitch that I am so enjoy stitching. This was an exclusive in the spring mingle, and it is Ruby Throated Hummingbirds by Boomerang Stitches. That's what the finished piece will look like. Although, as a surprise to no one, I am stitching it on blue fabric. I know. Shocking. Oh, and here it is. I really do love it on the blue. This is a very pretty blue. It is called Patience. It's, oop, I am so sorry. I just hit the little tripod-y thing. It's 18 count Patience from Millennial Stitches. And I just love how those pinks look, and we'll be coming down and getting more of those purples, which will be so much fun. So I did concentrate a lot with the greenery and flowers on here, and then I did a little bit of the hummingbird. Here we have a patterned wing that's coming up next before working our way down on this one, and then we have another hummingbird that will be sipping from the purple flowers. So there's still quite a bit of work to do. My guess it's probably not even 50%, but there are some really nice chunks of color. And so when you get going, you can get a nice little stretch of stitching in. This did go in to Pattern Keeper. I just put in Snack-O-Lantern yesterday. What I'm finding with Boomerang is everything goes in beautifully, but you do have to assign the DMC colors, which is fine. That took me 5 minutes, 10 minutes to do. So that's not an issue. The fact that the pattern went in so seamlessly, that's what I am looking for. Like, that's what I want. Now, if I had a piece that had 200 DMCs, and if I had to assign each symbol the DMC, okay, that might be a little much. But these are small enough. It's not a problem. And Amity's charts are so clear. Like, she tells you the DMC color. She tells you how many stitches. The chart's big and easy to read. So these old eyes could see it just nicely. And so I had no problems. But I'm gearing up. I'm getting ready for that start next week. But this one right here, super love it. We'll continue to stitch it just because I enjoy the colors and the look and the vibe. And it's blocky, but beautifully blocky, and really a well-designed stitch. Love that one. She did a great job with that. All right, back to Christmas for a minute. I had not stitched this one yet for this month, so I pulled out, I believe it's called Spirit of Christmas from Textilly Crafts. And I want to say this came out right before Christmas last year. Now, Karen, Stitching Owl, she stitched the ornaments individually and made them as ornaments. And being as efficient as Karen is, she got them all done and finished and the whole bit, and they were beautiful. And I'm just plugging along. Now, in my defense, I am Mary stitched this one too. She stitched it in kind of those red colors. But me, I had to, like the other one that you had seen last week from Modern Folk, where I'm doing the 2 colors of fabric. I'm doing the same thing on this one, although this time I'm using red floss, not the green floss. So this is this version, 18 count white opal. I don't know if you can see the shine. It is a lovely little shine on here. And I am using a Threadworks, which I have to go back and look at the original listing notation from my starts book from last year, because I don't think the tags are in here, or there might be one tag and I don't know which one is for red and which one's for green. I have both projects in the one project bag. So there's 4 projects in this bag. I'm not trying to fussy cut or do anything with the variegation. The red is fairly variegated, more highly variegated than the green version of the Threadworks that I'm using. And so what happens, to be honest with you. I am, though, for some of these small, teeny tiny pieces, I pulled out, I don't know, like 815 or one of those colors that pretty much matches one of the variegated parts. And I'm using that because I'm like, there's no way I need to do the variegated part for those pieces. It's not making any difference. And then over here is the golden kind of vintagey version. This is 18 count honey. I was going to say, I called it honeybee. It's like, I don't think Bestitchme has a fabric called honeybee. It's actually just called honey. And so you can see, obviously I've done different parts. I want to say this year, I think this is the one that has more, but I don't know. This one might, because the outer edges of 2 ornaments are done. I'm not sure. So if I show you them side by side, obviously same color floss, but different color fabric gives you a completely different vibe. So that's the 2 of them together. And this is the one that's the honey. And again, as you can see, highly variegated in some spots. And I'm just kind of taking it where it goes and not really worrying about, and I'm certainly not worrying about trying to match variegation from one to the other. I don't care about that. So, plugging along on this one. Now, I think, because I talked with you last week about the Cozy Christmas Cottage experiment, that I was thinking of cutting the bottom border off of that one. And the more I think about it, I really do like that idea. So I think for this year, my goal might be to try to concentrate on finishing that one. And put this one kind of in the back burner, this double fabric experiment, and then maybe have that one be a 2026 kind of focus, get it finished kind of piece. I'm thinking along those lines because I would like to get one of them done, and I feel like I have a much better shot of getting the green ones done before this one. Okay, now within this, over the weekends is generally when I do work on this next piece, and so it just slid right into, it was my second to last piece for Whip Frenzy, and it is Christmas Town from Stitchrovia. So that's what it looks like. Whoops. Trying not to get any of the glare. I adore this piece, but I'm done. I'm over it. There's so many color changes, and it looks so cool. And I know it'll be so cool when it's finished. But man, I am done. I started this for, I'm just doing one quick look here. I'm starting this for, or I am stitching this for the Whip into Shape stitching challenge that Andrew, the runner stitcher, has been challenging us to do. Andrew is currently injured. We wish him all the best and health and strength to get back to the running. Andrew's been taking the week off so far. So I have taken that as a week just to, I mean, the thing is usually I stitch it on a weekend, right? So this week's rest, that mileage of stitching, I wouldn't have done till this weekend. So what you're seeing was the week before, Andrew, he did not run the Friday or Saturday or whatever day was his long run. So that one would have been in this stitching, but other than that, everything else would not have been. So the hashtag is Whip into Shape, and basically every time Andrew runs a mile, I multiply that times 10, and I do those number of stitches in my piece. And I am slating to try to get this one finished. I believe the marathon is August 31st, so that's my goal for getting this one finished. And I know it's not possible, and I know I'm being melodramatic when I say this, but every time I stitch this, I feel like stitches have multiplied and gotten more, because I then pull it out the next time and I'm thinking I didn't do anything. And I swear I have. I know I did over 300 stitches, I believe, this week. Right now I'm focusing, I kind of stopped doing some of the white because you really couldn't see it. And I was feeling, am I really accomplishing anything? So then I've started to come down here to get the buildings and the trees, just so that I can sort of pretend to feel like I've got something to stitch. I know it doesn't look much. I believe there's still 1,700 stitches in this piece. I don't know where or how or why, but yes. 18 count white opal. This was the first white opal I pulled out because this piece will be 5 years old this Christmas. So yeah, we really got to get it done. But that's what it looks like right now, and it's a wonderful, fun piece. And if you want to stitch it, I say go for it, but definitely go into it with your eyes wide open. You will be changing colors a ton, and just be ready for that, and just know that it just seems to go on and on and on and on. Now, the second last piece I have to show you is the last piece I did for the Whip Frenzy over the weekend. Let me go to my, where are my pictures again? There we go. All right. And this one I have not done. You've not seen me do a large full coverage for probably almost 2 months now. In June, because usually I pick a full coverage, do it for the entire month, and then also rotate ones for like 1,000 stitches or whatever, 2 weeks. And in June, my focus every day was to get fish and ships done, which I did. And then I was just focusing on other things and kind of fell out of that full coverage habit. I may never finish any of these large full coverages, but I do enjoy stitching on them. So I did want to get myself back into it. This one is a Christmassy one, so I pulled it out this week and will continue stitching on it through the end of the month. And I'll see how many stitches I get. whether or not I continue with it or if I change to another project. I need to sit down and look at all my numbers because I did do goals for the full coverages that I brought through this year. There's maybe 5 or 6 that I said I'm not going to work on this year. But because I have as many projects as I do, for me, it's somewhere between 3 and 10,000 stitches that some of these will get, and some will only get smaller amounts. This is Steampunk Christmas Fairy, and it's charted by Stitches So Beautiful. The artwork is by Adney L Studio. There are 3 different steampunk fairies in this series. This is my favorite, so this is the one I ended up buying. Now, it does come as a mini as well as a regular size, and I almost bought the mini. I mean, like, I had it in the cart and I was ready to go, and something intuition told me, nope, you don't want to do the mini, you want to do the large one. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure, which means I am only 4% done on this piece. I did remember looking at that. That's it as the entire width. I have gotten the whole width done on it just to see how far it would go. Clearly, I gave myself too much room on one side and not enough on the other, but that's fine. This is actually, that's still plenty. I am just in gray stitching. So most of this that you see was previously done, although I did do a little bit of going back and filling in some of the confetti over there. I am not one that does squares or lines or boxes or pages or you name it. It's basically kind of a bit of an organized chaos kind of stitching vibe when I do this. I pick a symbol and then I take that strand as far as I can go with it, and then I may or may not stick with that symbol and that color, or I may jump around, and it may not even be in the same section. So in the course of a stitching section, I could do a strand here, here, and here. There's no rhyme or reason. There's still quite a bit of confetti-ish stuff here. What I'm trying to do, though, is I'm trying to get some more of the gray frames here, because I believe on this side, there are windows, you know, with the lights in the background as well. So if I'm going to do some confetti here, then I might be able to bring that strand, if I've used like half the strand, bring the other half over here. 18 count white aida, 2 strands over 1 full cross is how I like to do my full coverage. So that's as far as we are right now. I did not look to see how much I did this week. I know I stitched on it last night for, it was at least 200 stitches. I don't remember exactly. When I went out to dinner last night with some friends, and then by the time I got home, we were kind of just winding down, and so I don't know what Mo did. I came up here and stitched for a little while. Okay, my very last piece is my, once a month piece. It is Summer Quaker by Leela Studio. And the entire outer edge is done. We are just enmeshed in that center part, and will be for quite some time. Gotta tell you. So this is as a whole. Let me show it to you as a whole first. 18 count Nantucket Sky, Fabrics by Stephanie. One of my favorite blues. This was like my first all-time favorite blue. I'm not saying there's others that are not, but this one really got my attention from the beginning. So let me do this in the center. And now I did, I think I actually almost got 600 stitches. What I try to do when I pull these out is get 500 on the piece minimum. So every month it's getting 500. May not get it finished, but that's, 6,000 stitches and, right? 6,000 stitches in the year. So that's something, right? That's better than nothing. And I was finding before I did this rotation, some of these pieces were just not coming out often enough. But now, they're getting closer. All of that stitching was in the whale, all of it. However, saying that, except for one little tiny stitch for an eyeball, the whale is done, completely done. Now we've talked about the fact that I'm going to change that and probably where the mermaid is. And I have not, people have asked me, why are you changing the mermaid? I have nothing against mermaids. I don't know. This one doesn't really jazz me. I mean, there's some beautiful ones out there. I'm not loving this one. And I had seen my stitchy friend Donna, hi Donna, stitch with a sea turtle. And I really loved how she did it. And so I went and I bought that little piece and I'm going to do that there. I'll tell you about that more when we get there. What I'm going to do now is maybe do some of the, well, before I get to the turtle, I'm going to do a little bit extra, but then I do want to get the turtle in because he's pretty much from bottom to top. And so I might have to move either a couple fish or maybe something on the bottom. And I want him in first, the turtle, and then I can work around that. I did pull this one out for an I Spy prompt. I Spy is a challenge that I host every month, and I give you 10 prompts and you find them however you want in your projects. And so one of the prompts was fish, and we have all sorts of fish here. You do not have to stitch what the prompt is in your project, just has to be somewhere in there. So I think I have a couple more prompts to do in the last, I'm not completely done. Usually by this point, my acrostics are done and I might have one prompt left in I Spy. I think with the Christmas in July, it kind of set me back a little bit. So I have some challenge prompts to work on this week. But there it is. Now you can see I was really going really well here. And then it's a page break. It might be 4 page breaks. And I kind of just lost my will to continue that part, to be honest with you. There are supposed to be clouds here and then here partially with the sun. And with this fabric, I chose to not do them. And I just want it to be a nice sunny blue sky with my scene. So you will not have anything up here. I think I do have to come up here with the sail, with the whatever's up here. There's a little couple flags and whatever the rigging line, I don't even know what they are. I clearly don't sail, so I have no idea, but that's backstitch and that won't be until the end. But there is some little bit more stitching here on the ship, but then that'll be it. That'll be empty up there. So that is Summer Quaker for July, and you'll see it again in August. Now, sometimes I do pull these out because they work perfectly for challenges, and that just means a little bit extra. If it comes out for a challenge, that does not apply towards the 500 stitches for their rotation. That's just extra. We're in a race to see if Spring Quaker or Summer Quaker will be finished first. If I was a betting person, I would put my bet on Spring, because that's less full coverage than this one. Both outer edges of them are done. It's just the center that I'm doing on both of them. So who knows? But I'm guessing the other one's going to be finished first. Alrighty, so plans. I am starting, I mentioned putting in from Boomerang Stitches, Snack-O-Lantern. Let me go back to my photos because it's in these photos somewhere. There it is. This is from Boomerang. So on the 31st of July, I know that Karen, Stitching Owl, is going to start this one. I know Melanie from Uplift Stitches is going to be working on this one. And I know Helen D is working on this one. Also, several of you in the comments said you were going to work on it too. So I have read the comments. I just have to go back. I'm one of those, I always read all the comments and then I'm always like, I want to say this or this or this. So I don't if I heart them, they kind of go in a different spot. So sometimes I've read them all, always have read them all, but then I'm always like, I want to go back. So I know several of you said that you wanted to stitch this one. I want to go back and look who said it so that we can, I'll know for sure who's stitching this. I am leaning now back towards purple fabric on this one, but I need to pull all the flosses and then throw them on some purples. Now, this is a purple here that will be fine on this lollipop. This one over here, we may have to change if it looks too close to the color. Oh, and this one's also kind of fuchsia. I will see what fabric I choose, and maybe they ghost a little bit. Who knows? Maybe I'm throwing it out there. Maybe I don't even do the ones that are on the ground, but I just have, you know, the raccoon in the jack-o'-lantern with, you know, kind of digging into, he's sneaking a lollipop right here. So we'll see, depending. I may not even do those in the end. So that one is a start for coming up. And then I know the 31st will happen before I see you, because that's Thursday. And then Friday, in case you were interested in joining me as well, I believe on August 1st, I want to get this one started because it's just too cute. This is, I want to say, Bubble Octopus from Love Poppet. Octopus Bubble Octopus. I went to Love Poppet on Etsy, and oh, she's got a really cute series. There's a hedgehog. No, they're all singles. A hedgehog, a fox, and a squirrel. And they're, you know, they're adorable little smalls, and they kind of, I know the hedgehog and the fox have little leaves with them, and oh man, they're really super cute. If you like kind of any of those animals and or fall stitching, go to Love Poppet because they are really, really cute. I don't remember why I said that, why I went to Love Poppet this morning. I went beforehand. I don't know, maybe I was to look to see this one on the website, and then I forgot to look what the name was. I believe I'm thinking kind of like a bright blue. I don't know if you remember Dive In from Bestitchme is kind of like a bright kind of poolish blue. I'm going to pull that, and I'm going to pull the colors because I really think that octopus would pop against that. So that's my idea of that. So yes, that is next Friday-ish, but if you were looking to start it, Linda, I know you're ready to go with it. So next Friday, maybe. And then if anybody else wants to join us with that. Now, any other August stitching, which I generally start 5 to 6, if I have my book here, pretty much every month I start at least 5 pieces. Let's see. Yes, and sometimes it's hot. No. So in April and May, I only started 3 pieces, and so far in July, it's only 3 pieces. So we'll have one more at least with the snack-o'-lantern. But then there were a couple months that I started 7. So it kind of washes out in the end because right now I am at 35 starts for the year. So I know there'll be more starts for August coming up. And any other kinds of ideas for that. Since next week is August 1st, I will really dig into the August challenges then. But I'm going to spend my time this week starting to look at them. For those of you who play I Spy, I have 9 out of the 10 prompts. I thought of a 10th, but I think I'm going to change that one. So I will work on that, and then I will get those prompts up, I promise. The end of the month always comes so quick, and then I say, oh gosh, I've got to come up with the with the I Spy prompts. So that will be gearing up for that. And remember, Kenny Stitches, I'll link Kenny again. I don't remember Kenny's parameters, but I love it. It's Abandoned Sal that he's hosting. My parameters are basically anything that I have stitched, even if it's with somebody that doesn't even have to have a hashtag, but you and I have started it, and I know that, and I just want to stitch that. So I'm going to go through all of my projects and see how many of them are kind of like that, and try to touch all of them in the course of the month. I don't know. I do have a page in my book, but I'm thinking about it. There's a lot. I wonder if I've actually should have given myself 2 pages. I've already started to get my August stuff ready. I don't think I have room to do another page though with it. Oh, maybe not. I'll have to come up with something. I'll have to write small because I want to say I have at least 20 projects that I've started with other people that are still going. But I will really talk about August stitching and ideas. I haven't even looked in my little section here that has possible starts for the year. So stuff coming up there. Plans though, finish the challenges from this month and start gearing up for next month. Alrighty, so what do we have for mail that came in this week. I have 3 trading cards that came in this week. So obviously it's starting to trickle down because most people who have sent, I've received. If I have not said your name, and wait, these 3 are international. So if you're in the US, I don't have any US ones that came in this week. If you have sent it and I have not said your name, and every week after I talk about my plans, I do show each and every one of the envelopes I've received and said who it's from. So if you've seen all of those, and because I don't know now, they're just in a pile, so I don't necessarily know off the top of my head, unless I remember saying your name. I don't know. You'd have to see after the plans section. But we did get Charlie. We got it. Of course, if you know Charlie, you know why this card is so awesome. Look at this. I think I'm going to cut this card down. I want to display this. And then we had just a really nice note, but this is Charlie, right? So anyway, I'll fix that afterwards. That came in. And then I'm going to make sure there's no stuff there. There's a cute little, it's a pumpkin with a guinea pig and a pumpkin because she knows my pumpkin stitching. Arlette, I got yours. And then Karen, we got yours. Came incredibly fast. Now, Karen has told me that my Canadian friends, the Canada Post, may be a little bit of an issue when it comes to send back out to you. When the time comes in a few weeks, I will be in close contact with Karen and she'll keep me posted how that's going. If there's any chance that there's going to be an issue, I will hold your stuff like I did last time. And once because that was during the strike. And then once mail was flowing again, I shipped everything out. So I will make sure I'm taking, precautions with your mail so that we don't get it lost somewhere. But that's all. Like I said, if I have not said your name in these last 6-7 weeks, I have not received it. So just letting you know that. Alrighty, shopping. I went a little crazy with the digital patterns, I'm not going to lie, but a coupon is a coupon, and the coupon got me. So last week I was talking to you about, I think it was it's my lovely embroidery, I believe. Let me see if I can find. Let me go to my Etsy shop not my Etsy shop, but my Etsy purchases. I want to get it right. And I will put the name down below. I no longer link the Etsy shop directly because my laptop does about 1,000 different things, opens up a bunch of extra windows, and then trying to link an Etsy shop. For some reason, I don't know if it's because it's a standalone site. So I give you the name of the shop, and all you have to do is put that in the search bar in Etsy. My Lovely Embroidery NB is what it's called. So if I go back to my photos, I had showed you last week, I believe it was last week or the week before or something, that I had gotten this raven and pumpkin. And I was thinking about some of the other patterns in the shop. Well, I said, I'm going to do a little bit of shopping. I think it was still a 30% coupon or 20%, but if you bought a certain number, you get 30%. So I was like, okay, that's a great deal. Well, some Etsy shop owners, whatever it is that you're buying from them, will, if you've bought something for them, it automatically sets, they tell Etsy to send you a coupon. And this shop had done that. And so I had been sent a previous buyer coupon for 50%. So I put one of the patterns in my cart and I was like, oh boy, then I'm going to go. So I ended up, one of them was a 2-pack, but in the end I bought 7 patterns, but with just an incredible deal. So I did get the bunny, I don't know the names of them because I kind of cut that off when I was showing you the pictures. There's 2 different animals with strawberries. There's this bunny, which is just super cute, and this hedgehog. That one was a set of 2. So I bought that set. And then, now I know in my mind that I won't necessarily enjoy stitching this, but because there's so many little color changes and stuff, but there was something about it that I just couldn't stop thinking about, so I said I'm buying it. That's the birdhouse one. I don't know. We don't have a birdhouse now. We for years had birdhouses at our last two houses, so there's something about that that just makes me smile. This frog with the pumpkin, I mean, look at his frowny face. I just had to get that. And that jack-o'-lantern, is awesome looking. It just kind of pops out at you. This one is Mary's fault. Mary said she had gotten this folk art, I think it's folk art hen. There we go. I did have the title on this one. Again, lots of little stitching. I could see stitching just the hen, but I don't know, all those colors are cute too. And two more. This one, I can't remember what this, it's obviously a bumblebee one if you see the bees. I probably will save this one maybe for Carla's stitch along next February. So Carla, I'm all set. I'm ready to rock and roll with you. And then the crow here. I believe I don't think it was named as Raven. I don't know, Raven, crow, one of those with the cherries. So I got those. And then one of you, I can't remember, but thank you for enabling me, had posted a picture on my Facebook page. They had been watching Annabella's, Elaine from Annabella's, her Flosstube last week. And she screenshotted this. This is a new chart from Annabella's that dropped this week. And she put it, she said, Laura, so it's called, it's time for, I don't know if it's time for pickling, time for pickleball, I don't know. But it's a pickleball piece. And anybody who is new, my husband Mo is a huge pickleball fanatic. And fanatic is probably a good word for it, to be honest with you. And you get this cute little chart that goes with it. Sorry, you can't pickleball buy. But I did show when I took a screenshot of my Facebook page picture and showed this to Mo, and he was like, oh, that's cool. So I think I have, you know, that lemon fabric from Bestitchme? I was thinking of stitching on like that because, so pickleball balls are basically, they look like wiffle balls. I don't know if they're any different than your traditional wiffle, probably. But the ones that, you know, Mo has, he's bought a whole bunch of them because he goes and he likes to practice on his own sometimes, are all yellow. So I thought, okay, I'll do the yellow background and I'll stitch, I think these colors would pop on the yellow. So I might use that lemon, which is kind of not in your face yellow, but it's a pretty. And then I didn't know that this little piece, whoops, the sorry can't pickleball buy was part of it, but I might have to stitch that as well. And it can be like a Christmas ornament or something. I don't know. So I did buy that as well. So I went crazy on the digitals this week. That pickleball piece she did also have it on her, it was in her Etsy shop, Annabella's, as a paper chart as well. But I figured that one, I'll buy it as a digital. Even if I don't put it in Pattern Keeper, it's very blocky. It's Subway art, right? So be nice and easy to do if I do a paper working copy. The only other thing I got, so I know I've talked about these quite a bit. Commit 30 is the planner that I use to do my stitching, and all my stitching for the year. I have multiple, so I have, obviously we've talked about this, and I'll probably show again at the end of next year, or beginning of next year. I have my challenge notebook. I have my daily kind of planner notebook, and then I also have one that is since 2020, January 2020, I have every start I've done. I have enough pages to go through 2026, and then I'll have to do a new one. So I have that book as well. This one is my day-to-day. The back has starts, finishes. It has stitch counts. It has Flosstube extras, full coverage stuff. So it has all sorts of things in the back. And then I use stickers and this, that, and all of that to do as well. And sometimes I will, they kind of almost journal like little things in it as well. So I got the notice. I've been buying this now. That's the third year I've gotten the book. And the notice came out to previous buyers first that the 2026 was ready to go. So I ended up getting pink this year. I've gotten blue, purple, the green, and now the pink. They have two choices. You can go Sunday to Saturday or Monday through Sunday. And I think the first year I got Monday through Sunday because I liked the color. And so every year I've just kind of done that now. But there's nothing like a brand new journal. And, you know, you've got the months at a glance. There's some extra stuff in the front that I kind of make my own and use different ways. And some of the pages I just tape together. But each month has a month at a glance, and then it breaks down each day for the week. So the months at the glance I use differently, and then on the days I do what I've stitched and my numbers and everything, and all sorts of other stuff is on there. So super excited. I love when I get a new planner to kind of start writing things in there and getting stuff ready to go. I don't sticker it all ahead of time. I kind of write in it and then sticker as I go. One of these years I've been saying I want to print off some small pictures of projects and stuff and put them in there as well. And I just haven't gotten to that yet. So those are my shopping, the planner and all those digital patterns. That's all this week. Okay, so that is all the stitching. If that's all you're here for, then thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a fabulous week, the last week of July. I cannot believe we're heading into August. I am a summer girl. I don't want it to end. I'm sorry for those of you with the really hot heat. I will take that every day of the week over minus degrees and wind chills and cold and snow and ugh. Alrighty. So we're moving on to life. This weekend was Mo's birthday weekend-ish. His birthday was Monday, but we celebrated all weekend. Thank you so much for those of you who wished him a happy birthday. He appreciates it whenever you think of him. So thank you. We had a fantastic weekend. Megan and Liz came down, and Con is still here with us. So we had a full house. Friday night was very cool. We went to Mo had gotten tickets ahead of time, so we knew this was coming. But we did kind of like a sunset boat cruise. There's quite a few of those around here in southern Delaware by the beaches. I didn't realize someone was saying that they did one in the winter that was a seal kind of cruise, which sounds really neat. I might have to look into that. I'm sure it's some that are geared towards dolphins. We have quite a bit of dolphins in the bay-ish area before you get into the full ocean. Although if you're sitting at the beach on the full ocean part, you will see the dolphins kind of swimming along as well. And this one happened to do with, there is a brewery that, like, you know how you can get kind of like little cards that, you join sort of thing. And for the year you get, like this year Mo got a t-shirt, last year he got this really nice mug, all these things. And it's actually really inexpensive to do so. And then you just get points when you eat at the restaurant or, have drinks or whatever. And so it was for anybody who had one of those cards, you could buy tickets for this cruise, and they called it a sunset cruise. And the brewery, was hosting it. So, and you got one, they were kind of highlighting some of their cocktail drinks. So you got one free, it was canned cocktails, and then they were doing samples and all that. Now, I was the designated driver after all of this, so I was very, very cognizant. Plus, I'm on a boat. I don't think I want to drink a lot on a boat, to be perfectly honest with you. But it was a 2-hour cruise. I kind of laugh because in my head, every time I say that, I think about Gilligan's Island and the 3-hour tour. But it was beautiful. The night was beautiful on the water. There was a little breeze, but it was a warm night with a beautiful breeze. They had somebody playing music on the boat. So she was very talented, really great. And we kind of went around, I don't know, out of the canal area and then over by the bay. And I don't know if we actually got into the ocean part. I kind of lost my bearings after a while, but we saw tons of dolphins, kind of like popping in and out of the water. I don't have the best eyesight, so I couldn't see the bald eagle that they had pointed out in one area. Mo saw it though, so we saw bald eagle. The lighthouse in that area, the Lewis Lighthouse, is by that area. So if you follow me on Instagram, I did post a picture of the lighthouse. And then, the sun was coming down. It was something like 6:45 to 8:45. So you got the beautiful sunset. And it was one of those, I took some pictures that, you know, that you can't always see all the colors with your eyes, but then the camera picks up all the different colors. I don't think on these photos I have any of those because I didn't share them. I took the pictures with my phone. So they're on the phone, which I'm filming on right now. So I can't show you that. But just some beautiful pictures, and we had a great time. I obviously did the driving home, and so I felt fine. I don't say what everybody else felt like. And then the next day we went to the farmer's market. If you were ever in the beaches area of Delaware, there's on Saturday mornings in the summer and in the fall, the Lewis Farmer's Market. It's a Saturday morning thing, and it's wonderful. Tons and tons of different farms come in, but then there's also all sorts of other things, and it's a really nice kind of walk around on a Saturday morning. We did that. We did our acai bowls on the beach on Sunday morning. It was beautiful. Mo and I did not stay, and I don't think Con stayed the whole time. Megan and Liz stayed for about 3 hours. They stayed at the beach for a while, but we all came back otherwise after about an hour and a half. But it was a beautiful morning, so we did that, and just really a busy weekend. But the kids would go off and do things and whatever. And and I think it was Saturday afternoon, Mo and the kids did pickleball together, so I got some stitching in. So I did have some time from stitching, and then obviously lots of other time that we were doing stuff. So great weekend, wonderful weekend. And I don't know, other than that, this week has been, we did go out to dinner last night, like I said, with some friends, a restaurant we had never been to before. They had some vegan options, which thank you for that. And so it was nice to be able to go out, talk with friends, and have a good meal and not have to worry about just having a salad that you've taken everything out of, right? That's a lot of restaurants, a salad, but they always have cheese in them and they always have to take things out. So, you know, it's nice when a restaurant has a kind of a few variety of things for everybody. So that's kind of my week. I do have a book for you. This is the read for, I'm in a mystery book club for my community. And I don't always read the book every month. Sometimes I'm just not going to get a chance to. Sometimes it doesn't really, I don't know. I'm not sure I'll read it, or I've got other things I want to read instead. But I did pick this one up from the library, and I started to read it. I won't have my book club meeting until the first week of August. So you read it the month before, and then the first Tuesday of the month we have our meeting. This went way faster than I thought it was. I started it thinking, you know, oh, I better get going on it. It is called Her Deadly Game by Robert Dejoni. I'm not 100% sure. I have not read any of his books, but when I looked at the front, he clearly has written quite a few, and he does like his series. This is a new character, but there's a series with this character here, plus some standalones. This one is a legal thriller. I have no idea what the other ones are, but because there's so many of you may have heard of him before. This book basically follows a young lawyer, and she joins her family firm after leaving kind of the prosecutor's office, and the family firm is a defender. So she ends up defending somebody against kind of I'll say nemesis, that's a dramatic word, in the DA's office. And has to, you know, we go through leading up to the trial, whatever, and then the aftermath and all of that. Is it the best legal thriller I've ever read? No. Is it a good summer book especially? Yes. It's a very quick book. There is, and I don't know if this is indicative of this author, there is a ton of dialogue in this book versus, you know, some writers will have large swaths of paragraphs where they're describing things, and, you know, there's not as much dialogue. This is very dialogue heavy, which, I mean, I find as a very quick read, because obviously there's less words on the page. Plus, you know, you're not trying to get all of the descriptive atmosphere. It's just kind of people talking in the book. So if you wanted a lighter kind of read, a quicker read than some other, say, legal thrillers, I would say, especially in the summertime when you're not really maybe looking for anything deep, I would recommend this one. Like I said, I'm sure that I know there's legal thrillers that are going to be better than this one, but it was decent. It was good. So especially this time of year, it fit the bill what I was looking for, and so I would say it's an option for you if you like that kind of book and want a read that's on the quicker side. And I got it from the library, and I know other people did too. So obviously, it's one that the libraries do carry. Hopefully, yours does as well if you're so interested. So that is my reading. There's nothing really fun and new and interesting that I've been watching. I've just been catching up on some of my BritBox and my Acorn. So nothing really fun to recommend there. So that's it. That's all I've got. We've come to the end of the Flosstube. I am so thankful if you are here and you're still listening to me. I appreciate your friendship and just the whole, hanging out with me in our community. Thank you very much. As always, please remember though, it's not about me. It's about cross stitch, and it's about you, and you matter. You are important, and you are enough. So please remember that that you are special. And until next time, happy stitching.